Look at that beautiful tree. Just wanted to show this to you because I came here today to talk with you all about wisdom some more, and thank you so much for your positive feedback. I'm really glad that the information was beneficial to you and fed your spirit. That's my jam. You want to tell me how it is? But I came here because many of you may not know, but South Carolina is the Palmetto state, and this tree right here, these trees, if you can see around here, lots of beautiful trees. But the trees kind of take me back to a time where I was with my homegirl recently on the weekend, and we were in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina at the Strand Boutique Hotel Resort, right there on the Strip, and it just takes me back to that place and that time. Okay, I'm gonna turn it around. No time. Hola, ¿cómo está? Konnichiwa. Hello. I wanted to come back here, and once again, thank you for your feedback. I wanted to come back here today. One time. Hey, okay. Okay, I wanted to come back here today to speak with you more about the importance of wisdom and to answer some questions, because I got some feedback, and so that the next question is, or topic I should say, is how to pursue wisdom and how to become more wise. Okay, and so last week we said that wisdom is good judgment, discernment. Wisdom makes you attractive to other people, and it makes people, or it helps them, I should say, to trust you. And I'm going to try to make this video as quick as I can, because there's a time limit on here, so at least for me today. So but what I want to briefly address is what wisdom is not. Wisdom is not being a know-it-all, and to be wise does not mean that you are perfect. Okay, it doesn't mean that you have it all together. Wise people, the difference between wise people and people that are just sort of I guess neutral in a sense, is that wise people just kind of know what to do and when they need to do it. So it doesn't mean that those people don't make mistakes. What makes them unique and what makes them attractive to people is that when they do make mistakes, they deliberately and intentionally learn from those mistakes, and they learn from the mistakes of others. I'm amazed at how many times we find ourselves in different situations that the people around us have been through, or people have told us about, and then we get ourselves into that exact same predicament. And then, or here's a good example, a situation that you may have grown up in. It may have been a situation in your household, or something that you saw your mother or your father go through, and you saw the outcome of their situation, and then you become an adult, and then you get yourself into that same situation, and you say, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. And it's like, you didn't learn anything. So wise people are able to connect the dots in another person's situation and learn from it. The saying goes is that experience is the best teacher, but I disagree with that. I believe that experience is a really good teacher, and experience is very important, because a lot of times sometimes we don't really understand what other people are trying to tell us, or what the lesson is in life that maybe God is trying to tell us, until we experience it, and then we come out of it, and then we say, okay, I understand that now based upon my experience. However, experience is a good teacher, but the best teacher is wisdom, because wisdom means that you learn from the mistakes of others. And let me say this to you. I know this from experience as well as observation, that only a fool only a fool needs to experience everything, okay? So how do we take some steps to become wiser? Step number one, and I don't have my notes here in front of me, so I hope that it flows from my heart to yours, from me to you. So you become more wise by, number one, by appreciating and valuing knowledge. I think it's somewhere in Proverbs. I had it written down, but I don't have it in front of me. But somewhere in Proverbs it says that whosoever loves knowledge is good, but a person that hates correction is a fool. And so it's important that we don't just value education, that we don't just value material things, or even just value our relationships. All of those things are very important, but a lot of times we are not in pursuit of wisdom because the people around us or our environments, the situations that we grew up in, simply just don't require it. If we think about the places that we work, our family members, people that we may associate with, just in our day-to-day interactions, how many of those people really require intellectual thinking? Hey, I'm in Columbia, South Carolina, but I'm listening to 101.9 in Charlotte, North Carolina, so it's just right up the street from here. But anyways, as you can see, I'm a music connoisseur. So anyways, I love Erykah Badu. But a lot of times the people around us do not, the conversation or the interactions simply do not require that level of thinking. And so a lot of times we never develop that wisdom muscle simply because it's not commanded. And so if the people around you are not pushing you, then of course, if they're not in pursuit of it, if your relatives are not in pursuit of it, then most likely, unless you have unless when God breathed his breath of life into you, that was something that he gave you, and so you have the natural inclination to do so, then most likely you will be in pursuit of wisdom, even if the people around you aren't necessarily pursuing wisdom. But unfortunately, most of us don't. Okay, so it's important to value knowledge. And let me give you another personal example of that. During the holidays, somebody who has somewhat they've kind of been on the parameters of my life, pretty much my whole life, but they decided that they wanted to get me a Christmas gift in December of 2015. I said, well, okay, you know. And they asked me what I wanted, and they really wanted to do something big for me. And most people that know me know that, you know, I like to read books, and I like to go to bookstores, and Books A Million is one of my stores. I'm not going to say that every book that I read is, you know, intellectual or something that's all about personal development or spiritual, because at times I read you know, ratchet books or love books, you know, things like that. However, or I may read just a magazine or something, just going there to have some alone time and to be quiet. But the thing is that when I told the person that I would like to, you know, have a gift certificate, maybe from the bookstore or Books A Million or something like that, their response was, what? Come on, Anique, really? That's all you want? So, and I thought to myself, like, yeah, that's what I want. What's wrong with that? Because I value reading. And once again, I don't necessarily read 3-4 books a month, or even some people say they read several books a week. I'm not gonna say that I even do all of that, but I do like to read for leisure and also for personal growth, you know. And so But their response was like, why would you want something like that, you know? And so instead, even though I told them that that's what I wanted, instead what they got me was something that I don't place a high value on. They got me something that they value. They bought me a Dooney & Bourke's handbag for Christmas because that's something that they valued. And so in that particular situation, I was sharing with that person in so many words that I value wisdom over material things. And they gave that to me on Christmas, a few days before Christmas. I said it was nice. It's a beautiful bag. And, you know, from a social status standpoint, then I could feel like I have arrived. I thanked them for it. I told them that it looked nice because it did. But nevertheless, because I don't place a high value on it, and because that's not really my style, my personal style as far as having the logo on the bag, you know, side note, I don't particularly, unless I just really, really love the brand, I'm not too particular, or I should say, I'm not really into wearing other people's initials or logos on me. That's just something that doesn't really bear witness with my spirit. And so after that, they drove off, and I put it in the trunk of my car, and that's where it is as of May 6th, because I don't really value that. It's in the trunk of my car, and I've been riding around with it. I'm not in a rush to take it out either. And so, because, you know, whatever. But getting back to our point is that they could not believe that I would value a gift certificate from the bookstore. They didn't see it because they didn't value that. And so it's all about what you place value on. So learn to embrace knowledge. Learn to embrace correction. Learn to embrace and pursue after, long for knowledge. And the more knowledge that you have, the more that you apply that knowledge to your life, the more that you allow the correction that the people that God sends into your life to correct you and to tell you about some things that you could do better, as long as the criticism is constructive and not with the intention or the intention to tear you down or to break your spirit. So basically what I'm saying is that the more teachable that you become and the more you pursue knowledge, the more wise that you'll be. Second point that I want to make, because I need to wrap this up, is that you become wiser when you listen more than you talk. A lot of people will say, especially in our culture right now, is that I just say whatever I want to. I just got to get it off my chest. Well, that's foolishness. That is foolishness. There are times in our lives where getting something off of your chest is appropriate, okay? It's good to get things out and to put things on the table, but it's not appropriate to necessarily have that mentality in every situation. It's unwise to not think before you speak. And there's another passage in the Bible, I believe it's Proverbs 17:28, and it basically says that even a fool, and let me pause, because a fool, to me it's a more kind word, but basically a fool is somebody that is stupid. A fool is somebody that you can't really tell anything. A fool is somebody that's dense, dumb. But it says that even a fool, a dense person, a stupid person, even a fool is thought to be wise if they would just keep their mouth shut. So many times we ramble and we go on and on and on about absolutely nothing. For some of us, the reason why we do that is because that's the culture in our families. It's the culture within our communities. And if we don't act that way, then perhaps we wouldn't necessarily fit in. I know I've been in a lot of situations where even when I was a child, up until my current lifestyle, but more specifically when I was a child, that people said, oh, Anika's too quiet. But I have found through experience and observation is that a lot of people who are constantly talking, they're not the most bright, they're not the most intellectual people. People that are attractive and unique tend to be very intentional about the words that they say. It's not becoming to us as men and women to just blurt things out. To blurt something out is to act like a child. If you talk to a 3 or 4-year-old, they don't have any type of filter. And absolutely, we respect people that are straight shooters, but even with things like that, there's a time and a place for it. And so it's so important to listen more than you talk. When you listen more than you talk, you tend to hear more. It's difficult to discern something when you're always talking. A person that I used to be friends with and I somewhat looked up to, she would say, you want to hear the word behind the word. You want to know what a person's intentions are. You want to know what they're really saying. So a person could say hello, but if you're operating in discernment, you know that you know based upon your experiences and what you sense in your spirit that they're saying hello, but they mean something else. That their intention may be something else. And so when you listen more than you talk, let me change the station, you tend to hear a person's heart. You can tell when a person is sincere or not. It helps you in business. It helps you in your dating relationships. When you sit back and you allow that person to talk, you can sort of see that their mannerisms and who they really are. You can not just hear the words that are coming out of their mouth, but you can hear what's on their heart. It helps you in business if you're negotiating for a contract or you're bidding on a contract, and a person may be, the rule goes that after you have stated what you want, you put it on the table. The person that speaks first always loses. Well, if you're the kind of person that's always rambling because that's how your mom is or that's how your dad is, if you're always rambling because you have to prove something or because you like to be right, or you have to say, or you have to have the final word because of your ego, then you're gonna miss out. You're gonna end up losing. So it's better to listen more than you talk. And some of you may think, oh, well, that's just not who I am. That's not my personality. Well, regardless of whether or not, I mean, there's so many commercials, but nevertheless, whether you are an introverted person like I am, or you're an extroverted person where you like to talk a lot, you need to be able to listen more than you talk. And I'm going to end with this, is that some of you may have heard this, but there's a saying that goes, some people speak because they have something to say, and then other people speak because they have to say something. You get to choose which one that you're going to be, but just know that the first person tends to be more respected. Think about the words that are coming out of your mouth. Are you talking like a mature adult, or are you acting like a child? How is your content? Do you value knowledge, or are you mimicking the situation that you came from? That may have gotten you closer to your family to be like how they are, or to be like how your co-workers are. But if you're going to advance to the next level in your life, you have to know that listening leads to greater profit. Once again, the quote goes as this: some people speak because they have something to say, but other people, and then other people speak because they just have to say something. So I want to leave you with that. I was hoping that some good music would be on so we could really flow and vibe, but it's all good. But I just wanted to share that with you. I hope that it was good, and if you want to give any feedback, I welcome any commentary in the comments below. So hope that you all have a great weekend. I intend to kind of chill out a bit, but I hope that all is well in your life and that you're becoming wiser every day. And I want to give you this last statement, and that I always like to say this, is that wisdom won't necessarily make you famous or make you popular, but it will establish you and it will preserve your life. Okay, so I'm signing off, and I'm going to show you the beautiful palmetto trees again. Okay, all right, have a good one. Peace.